Hi everyone, my name's Kitch. Yesterday we got a message in the forum from Martin asking how he can get the length of the current file or selection in Soundly. So he's written, I'm trying to get SoundFlow to read the length of the current file or selection in Soundly. It is the second field from the left in the picture. So I assume that that's this field here. So he's going to be using this for a larger script, I think. And he's written that when I try to click UI element, when I try the click UI element method, it recognizes as a UI element, but you get a value that's very specific to what it already is. So as you can see in the code that it's created, if you scroll to the right, we get whose value is, and then 0:05.52. So if this value changes at any point, this line of code will become useless because it will always be looking for the field with that value. So any idea if this is possible currently? And the answer is yes. And I actually went on to ask Martin a question, and he wrote back saying that he found a solution in an old video using the click UI element method. And using that from the macro editor, and that's a great way to do it. But I thought I'd just walk through how I would do this programmatically, and ways that we could try and make it a little bit more robust to help you for future scripts. So let's head on over to Soundly. So here in Soundly, I've got a file, and I've got a selection made. And right down here, we've got the value that Martin wants to collect. So if we head on over to SoundFlow, and we'll create a script. So to do that, we're going to click the plus button here, go new script, and let me see, we'll call this get length of file in Soundly, or something like that. Get length of current file and Soundly. Okay, so now we have a blank script here. We're going to use the pick button here. So the pick button, if we click on that, then use Command Tab to tab over to Soundly, and then once Soundly is active, if we scroll down to, or move our mouse down to where that UI element is, if we click on that and we head back to SoundFlow, it's created the path to that UI element. So as you can see here, we've got SF, which is stands for SoundFlow, UI, user interface, app, and it's got the address of the Soundly app. Then we've got the main window, and then it goes on to find the static text field, and whose value is that value that is set there. So as we said before, this section here is going to make things a bit problematic. So instead, what we want to do is we want to filter the text fields out and find the text field the text fields that are specific to the time values, and then choose the second one or the 1th using JavaScript indexing to find that UI element. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the whose value is, and first the top here like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use something called variable extraction, and that's so. Variable extraction is just breaking down a line of code into different variables so that it's much easier to read. So to start off, let's create a variable for the application. So to do that, I'm going to go const, and then I'm going to go Soundly equals, and then we've got Soundly as a variable. So now that we've got Soundly there, I'm going to go Soundly, and now we've got that line, which is a little bit easier to read. And I can do the same thing here with the main window. So we call this main window, and then we can put that directly under there, and then we write main window. And now we've got this here. So this is saying the split group first children whose role is AX static text. So we could split this into the split group. We'll go here, we'll go const first split group equals, and then we go first split group. And now we know now that this is a reference to all the text fields. So this is going to be an array of text fields. So what we're going to do is we're going to go const text fields equals like that. So now, if we want to see what those text fields are, we need to map these out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go text fields. Well, first of all, we'll go log, and we'll go text fields. If we run this, it's not actually going to work because we need to map the UI elements out so that we can actually see them. So to do that, I'm just going to go .map, and then inside here, I'll go element or text field. So TF for text field and TF, and like that. And now if I open the log here, and run that, it's going to tell me that I have 4 text fields. So in Soundly, I assume the 4 text fields is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we specifically need to get the text fields that are the time fields. So looking at the specifics of these text fields, the text fields that are time fields have a colon in them, and they have a dot, like a period in it. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to filter the text fields whose values include those different characters. So to do that, to do that for one character. So if I was to say, let's just comment this out now. So if I was to say text fields dot filter and TF for text field and TF dot value. Actually, let's just map this out to see what happens when I do this. So if I go map, and we'll just log this, and I'll clear the log, and you can do that by using Control Shift and C. And then if I run this script again, it's going to come up with the values here. So now that we've got these values, what we're going to do is we're going to filter these values so that it only gets the ones with this character and this character, this character and this character. So it's going to filter it so we just get these 2 values here. So to do that, we're going to change this to filter, and we're going to go value.value, and then we're going to go includes, and the first one we're going to do is we're just going to do the colon, and this will work enough, but we're going to improve this. So if I now clear out the log again, and if I run this, it comes up with those 2 static text fields. So just to map those values, if we wanted to see what those values are, we just go map, and then TF for text field and TF for text field. And so we run that, and then we got value.value to display the values. So clear out the log, and so that returns the result we wanted. So this is great, but just in case somewhere in the different text fields we have here, maybe there's this character is being used in the track name or something like that. So we want to make sure that we use not just the colon but the period as well to make sure that that works. So instead of doing this method, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the every method to filter this. So what we're going to do is we're going to say const time text field. So we're just going to create a variable for this, and then we'll just log down here, time text fields. So doing this does exactly the same thing. I've just made it into a variable and I'm logging it down here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the every method to make this work. So we're going to filter the text field and then use the every method to do that. So if I do this, I'm going to put this on a new line just so it's easier to read. And actually this needs to be on the new line and not that one. Okay. So now if we've got, this is going to do one value, but we need to do it for every value. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an array before this of the characters that we want to find, and then we're going to use the every method. And in the every method, we'll do something slightly different. So here we're going to do the colon, and then here we're going to do the period. So now we're going to do character, and from there we'll do the text field value includes. And then instead of having the colon in there, we're just going to pass the character into there and then do that. And now for each of these characters, it's going to say if it returns true, then it will give us those text fields. So if I run this again now, it gives us the same result, but now it's making sure that not only does it have this character, it also has this character. So that's working great. So now what we want to do is we want to get this value here rather than this first value. So we can do that simply just by using the index. So the index for this value is going to be 1. So because JavaScript is a zero-based language, this is going to be the zeroth, the zero index, and this is going to be the first index. So so 1 is going to report back the correct one. So if I clear the log now and I run this, it gives us the value that we wanted. So another way we could do this is we could do this based on the length of the amount of text fields it's found with this filtering here. So to do that, we're going to instead use the length inside the index here by saying time text fields dot length, and the length is actually a number rather than an index. And so because it's the length is going to be 2. As we know, when we logged this out, there was a length of 2. So we need to subtract 1 to actually get the index of the last item. So index length minus 1 is going to give us 1, which will log out the correct item. So if I run this now, I used the wrong variable there. So clear that out and run that again, so we get that correct value. So now we can create a variable for this, so const, and we can go target text or target time value equals, take that out, and then we go log target time value like so, and clear that out, run that again, and it gets us that value. So now we have a nice clean script that goes through. It creates a variable for Soundly, a variable for the main window, a variable for the first split group, all of the text fields, and then we're filtering out the text fields for anything that includes the colon and the period, and then we're mapping out the actual values. And then from there, we can get the target time value by getting the text fields and finding the last text fields that have those values in it, and then we're logging it out. So I hope that helps Martin and anyone else in the community that that it may be helpful to. It's all about making scripts more robust, and yeah, that's the way to do it. Thanks for watching.